Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Zowie FK series. And right here is my FK2 because it is the one I personally prefer out of the three, which are the FK1, the FK1 Plus, and the FK2. And yeah, let me get right into the review. First off, I should say that the FK2 is 85 grams, the FK1 is 90, and then the FK1 Plus is 95 grams. And unless you literally have ginormous hands, I don't see why you'd ever want to use the FK1 Plus. But if your hands are on like the very large side and you want to use an ambi mouse, I guess the FK1 might be for you. But for most people, your hand size is going to align with the FK2 the most, and it's also the least weight. So the clicks, these have the heaviest clicks I've ever used. I'm going to try to show how much force it takes. Very heavy, but there is no post travel. Pretty hard to jitter click as well. So overall, super heavy clicks, which actually does cause an issue for me in game, maybe just because I'm not used to having to put down that much actuation force, and I'm sure if I used the mouse for like maybe a month I would get used to it, but the clicks are very heavy, unlike anything I've ever used. They make the Model O seem like a joke. And now onto the side buttons. Hold on, let me try to. They're pretty mushy and pretty hollow sounding. Not very good. And to add on to that, they're pretty small compared to the ones on the S2, which I personally really preferred. And they're not as firm either. Along with the fact that they are on both sides of the mouse, which personally, the way I grip the mouse, my ring finger is right on top of the side buttons on the right side, which is often very annoying and does cause occasional issues. It just like fucks up my grip basically. I don't have them bound to anything, so it doesn't really like hit anything accidentally. The scroll wheel, per most of the Zowie mice, is dog shit, but it's probably the best one out of all of the Zowie mice. The positioning's alright, but again, it just has a nasty feeling, and the steps just feel gross and it sounds awful. So again, not a good scroll wheel, but most of these mice, you're going to be basing your purchase around the shape. But honestly, I would just get a model. At this point, I would just get a Model O instead of the FK series, and I'll get into why a bit later. It has these standard Teflon glides found on the other Zowie mice. Very solid. Just flies around my mouse pad. I like it a lot. Solid glides, but yeah, they're the same on most all of them. The sensor is actually a 3310, which obviously is not as good as a 3360 or a 3389, which for 2020, if you're getting a mouse, you really should not get a mouse with a 3310 sensor. In my gameplay, I haven't noticed much at all of a difference. I feel like my poor aim has been largely due to the clicks and just overall like personal discrepancies with the shape, especially the side buttons on the right side, which I heard they actually got rid of on the FKB series, but I don't have that, and I heard they also updated the sensor, but of course I don't have that, so my experience is going to be based on what I do have, and in my experience this has just not been a great mouse. That goes for a whole series, not just the FK2, though the FK2 was my personal favorite. The cable is a dog shit rubber cable, and of course that's just not good as well. So a lot of people regard this as like one of the best mice, But I just don't see how you could do that in 2020, just because of the clicks, for one. Unless you prefer the nasty heavy clicks, I don't understand why you'd like that. The poor scroll wheel, the unfirm, mushy, hollow side buttons, and a 3310 sensor, I just don't see it being a very viable mouse, which is why I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, because still, when I was playing with it, my aim felt good, and it fit my hand relatively well, but just the side buttons on the right side, along with it not being the most natural shape for my hand, since I like somewhat of a hump, like an elevated hump, it just wasn't for me, and that's why I don't rate it very well. So that's my review of the FK series, and yeah, I'll see you guys a bit later for my review on the ZA series, and then I'm gonna be giving my top 10 mice in the mouse fitting kit in order, and then I'm gonna be sending the mouse fitting kit back and telling you guys which one I got. So as always, it's been boardzy. I'm not gonna put any gameplay in this video, and have a good rest of your nights.